TA Live. I'm Corey Eckley of Natco Transport, and I have Nick and Ryan with me today to talk about Sync Logistics training and updates to the new broker course. Guys, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves.
Hey, so I am Nick Dangles with Sync Logistics Training. Sync is a training platform for freight brokers. It's a joint venture between my company Kinetic and the folks over at Metaphora. I'll let Ryan introduce himself as well.
Yeah, I'm Ryan. That's it. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Okay, let's jump in. We'd like to talk about today, what can you share about Sync simulations added to the new broker course?
Yeah, so our simulations are a great way for folks to get some actual real-life experience and practice their skills in a low-risk environment without jumping on the phone call with real-life drivers right off the bat. So it's a great way to practice their skills that they learned in the existing TIA training.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we started this business is we started as freight brokers ourselves. We were freight brokers for over 10 years, and one of the really hard parts of brokerage is just getting on the phone. It's scary, right? It is really daunting, and that's not just for new hires. When you want to try out a new skill that you've learned, a new negotiation tactic, or you're implementing software, we want you to learn how to build loads differently or engage with this new pricing platform. Like, that can be difficult and scary, and so getting practice in really low risk ways is something that we saw as a real benefit. And you see companies use this tactic a lot with call rooms and things like that to lower the risk for folks and make them feel more comfortable, and this is just one example of that.
Excellent, that's wonderful to hear. How will it improve the experience with new entrants to the industry?
Yeah, so I think Ryan actually mentioned a lot of this with new entrants. Like, it's scary being a freight broker for the first time and jumping on those phone calls with, be it drivers or customers or prospects, right? So this just gives you that, again, like I said, nice low-risk way to practice your phone calls, get in reps, get more comfortable. That way, when you do jump into live calls, you're much more comfortable on the phone and you're more effective as a freight broker.
And when you think about, like, new entrants means obviously new hires, new individuals, but it also can mean, newer or smaller companies, right? Like, I started my career at Echo Global Logistics, which had an incredible training and learning and development offering inside the business. And then when we went and started our own company, how were we going to replicate that? How are we going to train people? How are we going to build the training, not just for the new hires, but also for like upskilling people on advanced topics that we wanted them to know? Where were we going to find time to build it? When were we going to find time to actually train them? And so Sync really helps with lowering what we would refer to as that management burden on training, delivering the training, getting people integrated into the business, building toward standardization that you want across the business. So that's kind of as smaller brokers, as newer brokers, that's a real good way that Sync can help newer entrants, if you might define it that way.
Excellent. I think that's a great avenue that you guys are taking, since we've all been in that broker role. We understand the upward trend that we have to deal with in training.
Yeah.
What value does the course provide for new employees?
I think you said that one already.
Yeah, new employees, kind of my previous answer. Should I switch to... All right, we'll switch to more experienced hires.
We're not editing this out either, just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go that route.
So for more experienced hires, it's interesting
Wait,
because...
hang on. I think you should probably ask the question. Like, you're going to edit this, right?
Okay.
So you should probably then ask
let's
the
do
question.
it.
All right, we'll do that.
Thanks.
Okay.
Take two. Yeah.
How can experienced employees and team members benefit from this type of training?
So it's funny, for experienced team members, the mentality in the industry tends to be, hey, once you've gone through new hire training, you're good. But
Or figure it out. Or just figure it out, whatever.
Yeah, but the reality is that people need continuous training. It's not just a 2-week course and then you're done. It's a continuous process. So this gives even experienced hires a great way to practice those skills, to become more effective on the phones. And yeah, it just, like I said, it's a continuous process for folks. It shouldn't just stop after 2 weeks.
Yeah, I would say for less advanced topics or concepts, it's about reinforcing best practices over time, right? And so, like, building standardization, building toward like a consistent delivery model and experience for customers and carriers, reinforcing that over time is really valuable. The forgetting curve is a concept in learning and development that touches on how quickly people forget the things that they were trained on. And so being able to reinforce that. But then the other stuff that Nick talked about is those are more advanced concepts. How is someone going to learn the difference between selling into spot shippers and selling into enterprise shippers, if that's how you want to grow as a business or you want them to grow? Carrier strategy. how to think about just not booking freight and slinging freight, but building a book of carriers. Those are more advanced concepts that if you train somebody too early in their career, they have no context for how to internalize some of that. And that's the stuff that we saw, over time, again, as freight brokers, and part of the reason that we wanted to start Sync Logistics training.
Excellent. I really enjoyed our conversation. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add about the partnership or what you see in the future?
I mean, I would just say train your people. Like, whether you buy it from us or do something else, like, stop not training people. It's the biggest reason that businesses aren't growing. It's the biggest reason that you churn employees. It's the biggest reason there's friction with customers and carriers. Just like invest in training, and whether that's with us or somewhere else, like, it's the number one thing we can do as an industry to get better. Is that it?
I'd reiterate a lot of what he said, right? I mean, training is super important. It tends to get deprioritized in the industry, and to the disadvantage of like the companies themselves and the individual employees. So again, whether it's through Sync, whether it's somewhere else, do your best to invest in your employees and invest in some training.
Excellent. Appreciate your time today, guys.
Thanks a lot.